Yeah.
That's dope. Well, listen, let's go ahead and start.
Okay.
And then, because you jump into it.
Okay.
What's going on, good people? It's yours truly, Hassan Bangor, and I'm joined here today with Ron Stokes. Ron is a prolific artist who started his journey off with graffiti and then went into more abstract art. And now Ron is also creating a space, helping to curate art for other artists, primarily Black artists, other people of color, to make sure that their art is being seen in spaces all throughout Richmond. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ron Stokes.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So is there anything else you want to add to the bio? You like, listen, man, you could have included this and you didn't.
Man, the list could be long. We'll keep it where you started it, man, and we'll let it go from there. But yeah, no,
for sure.
Yeah.
And with that, there will be a point in time in this podcast where you have to brag. So you can hold on to it. And listen, I really want you to make sure that, you tell people what the flowers are. Not in a boastful way, but I think a lot of times as artists, we don't take enough credit, take enough times and moments to really reflect on our journey and on our progress that we've been on, right?
Okay.
So it's a very intentional brag moment that I would love for you to have.
Okay.
So I want to go ahead and kick it off with just your journey, man. How did you get into this space? And yeah, how, just where did you start and where are you now?
I mean, you said you started off with, I started off as a kid doing graffiti. I was 12 years old, writing my name on a wall. It's funny, I just visited that wall recently, so I had that crazy moment of going back to where it started. But did graffiti, did murals, and then one day I just kind of was like, all right, how can I evolve this to something that I think will be more accessible to everyone. I felt like everybody didn't want a graffiti piece on their wall, so looked at it and I felt it was a challenge to kind of find something in the middle that met people. I was like, what was something that my mother could hang in her living room? And so I started learning about abstracts and playing with the concept of merging those with some of those graffiti staples, if you will, and putting it all together. So that's how I kind of created that style and I just ran with it. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
So like one of the things that I was actually just thinking about was a lot of times as artists we kind of just try and bulldoze the world into like accepting our art for what it is. How did you be able to make that mental switch to say like, nah, maybe I need to kind of pivot in this way to make my art I don't know if palatable is the right word, but just make it in a way that other people can consume this art and have it in their homes. How was you able to make that switch?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily made the switch. I think I was in a unique position where I wasn't hungry. Because like I said, I wear many hats. I was able to take care of myself on other realms. So I didn't have to, I don't want to say dumb down, but I didn't have to make my art where everybody liked it to eat. I was in a position where I could make art, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And I'm not worried about like, I've turned down jobs because I didn't want to do it or it didn't fit my style. So I've been blessed to be in that position where I'm not hungry. I have plenty of friends that are like, yo, I had to take a check and I painted a purple dinosaur on the side of the building and I didn't want to do it.
Right.
And so, I mean, I get it, I understand it, like a business is a business, but thankfully I've been in a position where it's like either you accept me or you don't, but I'm gonna just keep doing me.
Yeah. There's like 3 different things that you shared that I want to explore a little bit, right? The business is a business, right? I think just early in our conversations, we talked about the business of art or the business of like this creative space and turning it actually into a business versus just being a worker bee, right? Because a lot of us are just trying to work for ourselves and do the business at the same time. Can you talk a little bit more about how you was able to position yourself in a way that allowed you to not have to do work that compromised your spirit?
Well, I think a lot of that is just financial stability.
Talk about it.
I'm not in debt, things like that. So I have that flexibility. And you'll see when you're not hungry and you don't have a need for money and you're able to just create based off pure creation and wait for the people to come to you that are looking for it versus trying to make something that the people can palatable and eat. So So yeah, I mean, it's a far different way to create, and it's been good to me. I'm happy to be in that position, and I honestly, I just paint for me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thankfully, people like what I paint.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't have to switch up just to make people like it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm doing. If you like it, you like it.
You like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. Yo, you're the second person. I'm starting to see a trend now on how people are creating art that is for them, right?
Yep.
And they're just allowing other people to almost get a piece of them.
Yeah.
Like if they exchange money for an art.
Yeah, I mean, it is a piece of me every time I create something. It's from my mind. I told someone last night, they were like, I'm not an artist. No, everybody's an artist. We all just create our own way. It's a language, you know? And the way I speak, I always say it as simple as this when I teach kids. I'm like, when I walk in the room, I might say, hey. When you walk in the room, what do you say?
What's up?
So everybody has a different way of saying, we're all saying hi at the end of the day, or hello.
Come on.
But it's all different for each of us. Art is the same way.
Yeah.
The same way I create, we all create the same painting, it's all gonna look different. That doesn't mean you're any less of an artist, it's just your way of doing it. And so when people say I'm not an artist, no, it's not true, because we're all doing it, we're just doing it in our own way.
Yeah.
So no.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna break the third wall for a second. I want you no, for real, but the reason why I actually wanted to stamp that is because a lot of times when people see this podcast, they're like, oh, this ain't for me. It's only for people who paint, or it's only for people who work in the creative space of what you deem as creative. But like, no, everybody has access, right? Or has a piece of art. We're all artists in our own right. Yeah. And it's just how you show up and deliver that with the world around you, right? Yeah. So I want to just talk a little more about the business piece, right? Because we talked a lot about like finances, and we talked about how you was able to set yourself up to where you ain't care what, you know, people said. If they ain't like it, they ain't like it, cool. Yeah. But you had to really make intentional points in order to be able to get to that place, right? So in just the business realm, right, what's like some gems you can drop there that helped you get to that space where now you can just create from a free space?
I mean, I think for every artist it's different. Like, I definitely had a phase in my art life where I was just giving art away. I didn't understand the concept of how much it actually cost me to create a piece of artwork. I didn't understand the concept of time. That's the one thing you really can't get back. And it takes time to create something. I didn't understand breaking that all into a price, you know? For me, it was like, all right, I bought the canvas for $20. I started painting for $20. And think about the fact that I use paint. My paintbrushes wore down. I use spray paint. There's only but so much of that left. I took however many hours to do this. I didn't bake all that into a cost. And even you know, now it's like I do so much more than just paint a canvas. Is, you know, prints and all these different things that I create, and I didn't really understand the concept of pricing correctly. So I definitely was giving away a lot.
Right.
And then you talk even creating for me, before I went back out in the world with this new style, my entire home was filled with my paintings. It got to the point where it was like, all right, there's no more room on these walls. And the family was like, look,
we're gonna have to figure out something.
You're gonna have to start taking these somewhere, because there ain't no more room in here. So, I mean, they gave me that push too. So, you know, it's a lot of learning and growth. There's no real guidebook. I'm a self-taught artist, so I didn't go to school to learn how to paint. And then there was no schooling for how to sell your art either. So it was all a learning process. Thankfully, I have a background in business and finance, so I kind of was able to apply some of that knowledge to where, like I said, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So I was able to apply some of that to it. So over time, but I definitely learned a lot in the beginning.
Yeah, I could imagine that. So like, all right, so you're a self-taught artist who's able to leverage what you know about the finance side into this business, right? What are some barriers that came along with being a self-taught artist?
I don't know if I have an answer for that. I don't know if I have an answer. I mean, that's just barriers in general for just being an artist, for being an artist of color. I feel like there's just barriers, you know. I don't know.
Well, I guess what has that looked like for you, or what are some moments in your life where you like, you know what, like yo, I couldn't have seen the other side at this time. Now, maybe I was 28 and this thing was happening, or I was in high school and this thing was happening. What was the barriers that was like, it was really hard for you to kind of see over the wall until you ended up getting through the wall or over it or around it? What did that look like?
So I could also take it a step back. You got to remember, my background's in graffiti. We never asked for permission to paint. Also, your entire being is made up of you getting up everywhere. It's a concept of getting up. I still apply that to what I do now. So even when I talked about the changing of my style, it was so that I can get up in more places. I still got to get up mentality. Like people always ask me, well, don't you want to be in like the Louvre? I guess, but that's only one painting. I'd rather be in everywhere. Because that's my mentality. So yeah, one painting is cool, but I'd rather have 50 or 100.
Right,
you know what
right,
I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I definitely had that getting up mentality. So my concept of a barrier is a little different. I look at things, I think I look at it a little different than some artists. You know, I know some artists and they like, look, I only need to sell 3 paintings a year and I'm good. Each painting might cost you 20 G's and I'm good with that. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't want to just sell 3 paintings and only have 3 paintings hanging this year. You know?
Yeah, you trying to get up.
I'm trying to be on this wall, on that wall, on this wall.
Hey, look.
But at the same time, I'm not competitive about it because I know there's enough walls for everybody. I mean, this room alone got 4 walls.
Wow.
Actually 6 or 7.
Got it, yeah.
But if I don't get this one, I get that one. You know, it's still that graffiti artist mentality. Man, that's a dope spot. This dude already hit it. But he ain't hit that spot yet.
Right,
so I'm gonna hit that one.
Oh, that's dope.
So yeah, I think I'd still apply a lot of that teenage mindset to a lot of things I do now.
Yo, so all right, so now, right, let's talk about all the places that you up in, right? So that's where the bragging part comes in, and once again, it's not even a boastful brag, right? But when you reflect and you look back at these moments, because I can tell as a teenager, and you was graffitiing, hitting up the walls and hitting up the spots, watching your art get paint, painted back on, like. Some of that could weigh on you, right? So I just want you to take a second, right? And just think back about, like, when you reflect back about your moments as an artist, what are some moments that you're really grateful and you just have a lot of gratitude that you was able to enter those spaces?
Man, that's a long list. I mean, because you got to think, that little kid that wrote his name on his wall never thought his name would get past that wall. And again, to see what I've been able to accomplish is, even at this point right now, is pretty mind-blowing and baffling. To say that this little kid now has artwork I've been in galleries, I've been in museums, I've been in restaurants, I've been in businesses, I've been in hotels, I've been at home. I mean, like, any type of entity at this point. I ain't got nothing hanging in an airplane. I'm trying to think what walls I ain't hit yet, but nah, it's been really good. I've done a lot of amazing things. Of course, murals around the city. There's so many places I've gotten up in that I never thought I would. And even now it's still growing with the different things that are starting to open up and happen in the coming year alone. Just baffles me, man. I don't have an answer for it.
Hey, look, but
that's how you know it's just a blessing.
That's how you know it's a blessing. I think sometimes, like, it's when God bless you, it does feel like, bro, I don't even know where to begin, right? Because you ain't even see or foresee all these things kind of coming your way, right? But eventually, at some point, you trusted the vision. I feel like that is where a lot of this, the beauty in that answer really lies. You know what I'm saying? So. So now you had a chance to go ahead and reflect, right? And what is your next, like, feat? What is the next thing you like, yo, I really, if I could do this would be something I could just add to it.
Man, you know what? I don't even know. Like, things are moving so fast right now. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I keep, like, anytime I do something now, I'm like, yo, I was thinking about doing that, like, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, whatever the case is, but I'm on a bullet train right now that I don't even know where the stop is, but I just can't wait to see where it ends up. But definitely a lot of doors are opening up in places that I hadn't imagined. So
That's dope. So if you could talk to your high school self, if you can give them like words of wisdom or a gem, what would you share with that?
start sooner.
Start sooner.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, so there was a point in my life where, I kind of chilled on art. Like, that was that point where I was filling my house up with paintings and not showing them to the world. Because a piece of me, I ain't know if the world wanted to see it, So as an artist, we all go through phases where you be like, ain't nobody checking out my artwork. Nobody wants to see this.
Right.
Especially, I felt like my stuff was different. I still feel like my stuff is different. I don't feel like anyone's really doing things the way I do it. And so I'm always like, people that really want to see this, even after all the stuff I told you, even to this day, I'll be like, I don't know if they want to see that, I guess it's self-doubt. Everybody goes through that. But yeah, I think if I could tell my younger self, start sooner, don't stop, go faster, go harder.
Hold on, let me break that down. Start sooner.
Yeah.
Go faster.
Yep.
And go harder.
Yep.
Why those three things?
So I think in terms of really showing the world my talents, I should have started sooner. I think in terms when I say go faster, I think it took me years to find that style. I would have found it sooner if I was going faster. And go harder, like once I had got it, man, just hit the
just hit the road running.
Yeah.
Yo, so we and I we've had like two conversations before this. I just want y'all to know I'm be very transparent, right? And one of the conversations we actually had was around the world and how they appreciate art, right? And I was talking a lot about how for Black people in consuming art, what that looks like and how that might be a little different. As a Black creator yourself, like what is one way you can share with people how they can actually support and consume art?
Well, I mean, consume and support are two different things, right? You consume it just by looking at it and taking it in. That's why as a father, I've been very adamant about taking my kids to galleries and exhibits and things like that. And I think you grow from just seeing all that artwork and digesting it. And then, so that's consumption, right? But then in terms of supporting, like then you're talking about the investment. And I think that's a key thing that a lot of people don't realize how far investing in an artist goes. Because, no shade on the Target paintings, but that money's just going in Target's pocket. Right. It's not going back into your community, for one, but it's not helping our artists get out their dreams. And because you can't paint, for some artists, they can't paint the next painting until they sell the first painting,
Right.
And that's how, at one point, that's how, I wasn't painting the next painting until I sold the last painting. That's why I had to get out my house, because there was no more room. I didn't have no more room in my house. So I need you to buy this so I could paint. And you never know what that next painting may be. I mean, I heard something once, I think maybe it was Picasso. They were like, for every painting of his that you know, there's like 100 you've never seen.
Wow.
Now, don't be mad at me. I completely screwed that quote up. I might have just completely screwed that quote up. But the concept, so don't go Google it and be like, nah, Ron, it was actually Rembrandt, it was 1,000 paintings, I don't know. But the concept that for the painting you may know, like even the ones you may have seen of mine, it's 20, 30 you've never seen that may have never sold. Or they might just be on somebody's wall intimately that you know what I'm saying? So like another thing you don't realize, every time they sell a painting, they grow as an artist. They realize, okay, people like this. Okay, people want to see more of this. All right, let me keep
making.
Got you. Because there's steps and layers to, even my style has grown and evolved. And so it's cool because some of my initial paintings I won't sell and I keep at the house, and I'll see them on the walls and they remind me of different stages of my own style, and I can see the growth and the elements as I added those layers to it. But yeah, I mean, it's no different than investing in that same guy that's, he's washing cars or He's got a restaurant. Like, you buying that first sandwich allows him to make the next, and he gets better every time he makes the next sandwich.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Yo, it's so funny because I actually never thought about it like that. Like, to me, in my mind, like, and one of the reasons why I created this podcast was so that I could learn, right? And be a part of these conversations and be authentic and be open and exposed that, like, no, I'm still learning with everybody else that's watching this. And my assumption was like, nah, people just create art. It's for the sake of creating art. Like, no, you just be creating just to create, and you have a whole bunch of art pieces and you sell them, and then, all right, cool, you don't. But hearing that perspective coming from an artist is actually really, like, that challenges what I thought previously. I'm really curious to know if there's any other, like, I'm trying to think of what else, whatever, like, preconceived notions I had, and I really want to see what your ideas are, if you could challenge them. But I think one is the starving artist kind of thing, right? And I don't know if you've ever, I mean, it sounds like you've been a starving artist at one point in time.
Yeah, I've
right?
definitely been a starving artist.
Is that, I mean, I know that's not by choice, but why do you think a lot of people find themselves in that position of just being, like, always trying to, you know, figure out the next and this, then the third? How do you think they find themselves in that position of always being a starving artist?
Well, I don't know if
maybe not always, but
I don't know if it's always, but I mean, you got to think about it too. How much does it cost for you to live in this world? You know what's your cost of living right now?
But too much.
I mean, and I mean,
so like
let's say your cost of living is $2,000
a month.
A month, right? That's how much you need to exist. That's for rent and food and groceries and electricity, all that. Okay, let's say it's $2,000. Right. As an artist, how many paintings you gotta sell to get $2,000? And you gotta do that every month. So that means you gotta sell, in 1 year's time, you gotta sell $24,000 worth of paintings. Wow. Where are you doing that at? How are you doing that? If you don't understand the business of it, then you starving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That means either you gotta be in some type of exhibit, or maybe you do a solo exhibit where you sell a certain amount, and then you gotta live off that until the next exhibit. Or maybe you're doing events. So are you doing an event every month where you could sell $2,000 worth of work?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people don't even understand that. If you don't understand the basics of business and finance, I mean, you got to do flipping fries at McDonald's that don't even understand that he got to work $2,000 worth at McDonald's. So now you asking that same artist who, a lot of us artists be in the air. We're a little, you know, we're a little eccentric and things like that.
All my friends say that about me.
You know, so the fact that, you know, some dude is sitting around staring at clouds with a paintbrush, he ain't thinking y'all need to make $2,000. I need to sell $2,000 worth. That's not even. So then you got to take, okay, I got to create worth of $2,000 worth of paintings to sell. How much my paintings sell? You know, so I mean, I could see how a dude is starving as an artist. If you don't understand the basic business of things, you might be hungry.
Right. So, all right, if there's like if you can give me like 3 basic things that I feel like you keep in mind as an artist that helps you with your work, what would that be?
3 things.
Like, just like 3, like very, anything more than 3, people be like, all right, that's a list. Right. But anything less than 3 is like, dang, can I have more? So I think 3 is like a good number. So if you had like,
in regards to what though?
In regards
to
a
big
like,
question.
Yeah,
it's a very broad question.
I know. I be asking like really out there questions, but
need you bring it down a little more specific.
So if you had like 3 things to tell an artist that they should keep in mind in order to help the business aspect of what they do, in order to help them live, what would that be?
I'll give you one good one.
Okay.
Stop being perfect.
Whoa. Okay.
The problem, and I see this all the time. I know so many artists that are like, I'm not ready to show this. This painting isn't done. This painting isn't ready. This concept isn't there. Man, just put it out there. Put it out there a little bit and see what happens. See what gravitates. See what happens. Man, perfection kills a lot of people, bro. And you know what messed me up? This is how I really got two moments in my life helped me get past that as an artist. One time, I went to a very well-known, prominent artist had an exhibit. It was probably like, probably 7-8 years ago. Beautiful work. I love his work. He's probably one of the few people I don't own a piece of his, and I'm gonna get one. I'll just put that and manifest that in the air.
Come on, look. I'm about to
But I'm talking to him about his work, and he had this painting, big painting, probably like 4 feet by 4 feet. I'm looking at it. All these other paintings, I'm like, yeah, those are all right, but this is the one. I love this painting. So I'm talking to him at the end of the night. We're talking about the exhibit. I said, yo, I love this painting. And he goes, I hate that one. I said, what? He said, that's the least favorite painting of mine out of the whole. I said, what are you talking about? This is an amazing painting. He was like, I see so many flaws in that painting.
Wow.
So many things I did wrong. I said, I wouldn't have known that till you told me. Example 1. Years later, I was a part of an exhibit. I had this frame. And I had a frame print that I was bringing to this exhibit. I had some other work as well. But as I was going to the exhibit, somehow, I don't know if I dropped the frame or I scratched it somehow and took a huge piece of the paint out of the frame. And I was like, yo, I'm walking into here and I just ruined the frame.
Yeah.
And so I walk in there with it. Another artist friend of mine is standing there, and I'm telling him the story. I show him the thing, and he was like, I don't see nothing wrong with that frame. I was like, bro, it's a whole scratch, right? The paint is missing. He was like, it looks like you meant to do that. It actually works with the thing. He was like, you should do more of that on the frame. I was like, what?
Wow.
So I went at it.
Yeah, dude.
I'm looking at the frame like, yo, this looks amazing. And I sat there, I said, yo, nobody knew that this frame was supposed to be solid. Now that I've gone back through it and done this, and this is how I'm presenting it, this is what the world knows. So example 2, where perfection was not there. But the world didn't know that. And so I could have sat on that painting, put it back in my car, and not had it for the exhibit.
Right.
But I put it out there, got a great response. I don't even have that no more. It's sold.
Wow.
It's gone.
Wow.
And so every artist can look at a painting and find something wrong with it. But no one else knows that. And so sometimes you just got to put stuff out there and get a response, get an engagement, and see if people are feeling that. I know so many dope artists that are just like sitting on so much work that they have not shown the world because they're just like, oh.
You know, what's so dope about you saying that on, not only on the last podcast, but just in general, I actually talked about this episode called Shame. And it's a book I read called You Are Your Best Thing with Brene Brown and Tarana Burke. And the idea was that a lot of people hold on to shame and we give it all these different labels, perfection, whatever, right? But the idea is that the shame stops us from connecting, right? And I almost feel like I don't know these people, but I'm almost certain that there's a little bit of shame there around like, this doesn't look too good, this has a whole bunch of flaws in it. And I almost feel like the same way they see their paintings is how they either see themselves or how they see the world around them. And so I think shame has a great deal to do with why we are scared to share our gifts with the world, or why we are apprehensive, or we take on these thoughts and ideas and feelings what we think other people might have. And so I really just appreciate you for sharing that story, because I think it makes it even more tangible about how perfection, which is really, to me, getting closer to whiteness, really is, or not even just that, but just
the concept of perfection is a pointless pursuit.
It is. It can't be
because
perfect.
When does it become perfect?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when does it become? It's no
never.
such thing. This amazing professor once told me, and this is for all my abstract artists out there. I was talking to him, and he was like, "Man, you got this dude. Every time I see him, he drops a gem on me." He was like, "Y'all got the hardest life there is as an artist." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I can't paint a realistic portrait that looks like someone.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot do it.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot paint a portrait.
Right.
I can't do it.
Right.
I'm not going to paint a painting of you that looks like you.
Right.
I can't do it. He was like, yeah, but see, the thing is, when you paint a person or a bowl of fruit, you know what it's supposed to look like. There's a beginning and an end. Mm-hmm. At some point, you're going to get to the point that it looks like it. Mm-hmm. It's like with abstract, there's no guideline. There's no map. There's no roadmap. Yeah. Like, you're starting with a blank canvas. You're putting some color on it, and only you as an artist know when it's done. Mm. And so when you talk about the concept of perfection, well, how do I perfect something that only I know?
And then what are you chasing? What do you what
roadmap are you still following? You're creating the roadmap. Mm. You're driving down a road that you're literally putting the road in as you drive it down. Yeah.
But like, all right, outside of the art world, I feel like if we take that into our personal lives, it's like that too.
Same thing.
Right? Like, ain't nobody, like, we are in this realm just having an experience, right? Ain't nobody telling me I should be living and these are what homes. No one is telling me or giving me my roadmap, right, to my life. Yeah. But so many of us, right, are chasing this idea of perfection that cannot exist.
We're trying to have that perfect relationship, that perfect home, that perfect job. Like,
it can't exist.
I talk to people all the time. They're like, yo, I'm quitting my job. Why are you quitting your job? My job doesn't make me happy. Okay, but does it allow you to be happy when you leave it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I talked to my kid. She was going off to college. I said, well, what are you going to do with your life? Mm-hmm. She was like, you know, she had this one dream. I said, well, is that dream going to allow you to do what you want to do when you get off? It sounds like you're not going to be happy. Mm. Change her whole game plan. Mm. So many kids I talk to like that. I'm like, yo, make sure what you choose with your life is going to allow you to live the life you want to live.
That's it. And I'll be trying, I think that's why I'm like, another reason for this podcast is to get people who are going to college, 17, 18-year-olds, to really sit and look at the possibilities and the opportunities that are awarded in front of them, right? Yeah. And I think what I want people to know is like, yo, you are creating your roadmap for your life by yourself. Yep. So like, as you're on this journey, right, understand that you are in control, right? And so this idea of chasing perfection, just to go back to it, is just unattainable. You're never going to have...
you're never going to get there.
You're never going to get there, right? But all you can do is just keep trying, right? So, perfection. Two more. What is the other two things that you would really want to tell another artist that can help them with their...
So you weren't gonna let me.
I wasn't gonna. I
really thought we was going with that, man. I was like,
listen, I'm
giving you a good one.
That was a solid. Yo, we was able to go for a minute. It was solid, but like, there's two more.
Say it again. Another piece of advice I would give to an artist besides stop pursuing perfection: grow. There was a moment in my life where I thought I had stopped growing. And I was like, I'm good. I've plateaued. Wow. I could ride this out. And I think more things started to happen and change in my life when I realized that was not true. Right. You never stop growing. So always grow. And what I mean with growth is like you hinder yourself sometimes by thinking you can't learn more. See more, evolve into what you are as a person. Like your entire life is built growing. I love when you think about the concept of a tree. A tree grows taller and taller its entire life. Like we as humans, we cap out at some point. 18, 19. Right. You either 5'2" or 6'9". Like that's it. But a tree grows its entire life. Wow. Like it never stops, and the roots are growing underneath. The trunk is growing, it's growing taller in all forms, it's still growing in this world. So I think we as a person, as this soul inside us, we keep growing. So never think that you've hit that plateau of what you're supposed to be in life. You know what I mean? Like I could have just stopped when I was like, all right, I got my art on the wall. Right. Okay, but now doors are open where I can help some other people come through the door too. Let's keep going. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So I say grow. And then a piece of that growth is learning. I got a friend of mine, he reads a book every day. Not a book every day, he reads every day with at least, I think, a book a week. I ain't on that level.
I'm at a book.
I wish I had time to read.
I'm listening to an audio book right now. That's the most I can do.
I'm reading on my phone, something.
Right.
But like, always keep learning. There's so much knowledge in the world.
Yeah.
That especially you're not taught in school. So especially for all those that are in school right now, you think you know something. I've learned more outside of school than I have in. Like I said, I was a self-taught artist when I was in my senior year of high school. I've always been in art classes. I never forget my senior year of art school. I had a teacher that told me that they give you a project. I was doing this project, watercolor. I had to paint a flower watercolor, and she looked at how I did it. She said, "This was all wrong. You should never paint."
Wow. In high school.
And you
took like, I know you by then you probably in art too or something like.
At that point, I'm in a higher level art.
Honors, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even like intro to art. Like at this point, I was in my first gallery exhibit at 17.
Wow. She told you that?
I had already done that, and then I was in this art class.
Wow.
And she told me I shouldn't paint. I should not be an artist. So that's what I learned in high school. So I tell everybody, you learn about this much in high school. Learn as much as you can in the world. Read if there's something you don't know, especially in this day and age, where I didn't have Google in high school. Yeah. I have YouTube.
Yeah.
Anything you want to learn now, very accessible. So learn and keep growing, man. Yeah. Like there's so much more to the world than we really think there is.
Yeah. And man, so real quick, I just want to take us through our journey, bro. So we started off just kind of talking through your history, your journey of an artist. We talked a little bit about you being able to, just share some moments that you're really grateful for. Then you had a chance to kind of talk through, some gems that you would give to other artists who are also coming up in the game. I'm really curious to know now, just what are some of the things you are learning, or what are some of the things that are inspiring you to create now?
I'm always inspired to create. I'm constantly thinking of concepts. I don't put a lot on pen and paper. Everything's in my head. So I start painting in my head. I dream paintings. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, yo, let me, I put a concept down, but even when you look at the way I paint, there's the textures and the way I use paint, you can't really put that in a sketch. Yeah. So my sketches look very basic. I'm always, I'm at the point now I don't really turn off anymore. So I'm constantly thinking of new paintings and new ideas. Yeah. There's probably a dozen paintings in my head right now.
Wow.
So really, at this point, it's just a matter of finding the time.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, is there anything else that you like, yo, I really want to get this off my chest. I want to share this. I want people to know what I got going on. Anything like that?
I stay busy. Definitely follow me on social media to see what's going on. But I recently just launched a new brand that I'm very excited about called The Art Scene, which
it's cool.
It grew from me curating some exhibits, some art walks and things like that, and me, again, opening those doors for other artists to show their work and to be highlighted. And I'm the type of guy, when given those opportunities, I'm not just gonna take it for myself. I'm gonna kick the door open and let as many get in as I can.
Come on.
So looking forward to, we just launched our first event that I was glad you were able to pull up on, which was an open house art exhibit.
It was dope, man.
Which was a different way.
It was dope.
I've been working with an amazing group at Bruin Experience, where a supper club in Richmond, Virginia, where we've been doing artist showcases, highlighting a different artist every month, and then bringing back the art walks and doing things like that for the city. We're doing a lot of different ways, and I love Art Scene, SEEN, because it's all about being seen and creating those opportunities for artists that haven't been seen, and artists that aren't being seen, to just create environments where we can be seen and showcase our work. So I'm excited about that, and people keep calling me up with opportunities with different ways to do it. So
hey, man, that's such a blessing. Like I really want to just give you some flowers now, because on this show. This shameless plug. No, but for real, I really do, because you've been in the game for quite some time. You got a lot of skin in the game, a lot of wealth of knowledge and experiences. And I think for what we need right now is this level of like, hey, I'm about to build a table so everybody can eat, right? And what was really cool, and just real quick, what was really cool about the art scene space that was created, it was art that was in homes, and what it allowed me to do was actually be able to see how to collect art and how to place them in a home, and how do you like what that looks like. And I think for a lot of, especially people that look like me, who I didn't know about the value of collecting art until we was talking about Jay-Z and Hov talking about, so being able to see that firsthand, I was like, oh, like I can collect this art piece, I could put it in my office, or I could put this here. And I was able to like open up my eyes and really imagine how to actually, one, consume art, and to be able to support artists in a way that's authentic and that's real. So I really just want to say, man, kudos to you. Please keep doing what you're doing. And it's just a pleasure to have you on this podcast talking more about, one, your experiences, and two, what you're hoping to create for other artists to be able to.
And I love that you said that, because I hadn't even looked at it from that perspective. When you said, I never thought what a home filled with art could look like. And I didn't realize that until you said it, that we're that alone. And I never forget when the homeowner came and saw, because she wasn't there as we did the install, when she came and saw it, she was like, yo, I never imagined my house could look like this. And it was just wild for me to think. We were so focused on just creating a space to showcase art, we didn't realize we were creating an environment to show what art can look like in a home, and how much life it brings to a home. And I constantly tell people, don't buy the art that matches your couch.
Come on.
Buy the art that matches your soul. Those are the ones that we've really fallen in love with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So often we're trying to buy the yellow painting because we got some yellow pillows on the couch,
All right,
but
right.
I mean, real talk, if that painting just talks to you, hang it in your house and let it talk to you, man. And whatever it reminds you of, or whatever it inspires you of, let it do that.
Yeah. And that was something I didn't know. Like, I feel like we can talk about this on the next episode, man. Listen, you are always welcome to come.
Sound like we got to make a part two. Cut
part two. No, for real. But like, man, this is gems, and I know that you have a wealth of knowledge within you, and I think that's what this podcast is supposed to do, right? Like, I'm trying to just take the brightest and the greatest minds that are already in this space and help illuminate that and show the world, like, hey, yo, if you want to get into this space, here's how you can do it, right? But with that, I do want to say, yes, this is going to be a part one. And if we end up doing a part two, then I'll be more than honored to feature you once again. But please, if you don't mind, just sharing your socials and how people can get in contact with you. If they have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns, etc.
Yeah, you can follow me at Views by Stokes on all social media. Views, like you see it, by STOKES. And then also the art scene is THE art scene SEEN _ on all social media as well. So yeah, we're kicking the door open, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming out once again. Y'all, thank y'all so much for watching this. And if you liked it, go ahead and like, subscribe, do all the things that, helps people like me continue to do this work, right? Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Much love, and peace. Catch you on the flip. Thank you. All right. How did I feel?